Your dream life is waiting for you to plan and execute it. This is where ambition meets intention. Today we are continuing our Dream Big, Plan Smart series. This is episode 2, where we're breaking down how to plan and execute our dream life. Because you don't need to wait until the beginning of the year, until you feel the time is right. Just start now. This is the second video in the series, so if you haven't seen the first, go back and watch that one. I'll link it in the description box below. I will probably put one of the cards up in the top corner here, so you can just click on that. Go watch it. Come back to this because this is where we are blueprinting today. So welcome back to the series. This is, like I said, the Dream Big, Plan Smart series, episode 2. And today we're going over the blueprint of our dreams. I've got my notes over in this little corner over here. In case you see me looking over here, that's what I'm doing. What is our plan of attack here? Last week we really focused on what our dreams were and kind of creating the envision of what we want our life to look like, you know, what it entails, what the envision is, how to work on that mindset to have it in the forefront of our brain and our mind daily. But today we're going to break that down and start blueprinting and mapping out our dreams. Starting off with our mindset, to get our head in the game, just dreaming is not going to do it. It's not going to be enough. It is crucial that we pair our dreams with actions that align with our goals to get us to where we want to be. While the dreaming part may sound inspiring and calming and exciting all at once, just dreaming is not going to be enough. It will start to begin to feel overwhelming when you start to watch your life slip away because you're not working on your goals and your dreams and you're not living those simultaneously as your life goes on. You're just watching them float away. So you need to understand that this is only going to work if you show up for yourself, put in those actionable gestures and movements to create your dream and your goals. It doesn't just happen. You're not just going to wake up magically and have it just be there. So whether you realize it yet, your small actionable steps is what gets you to your goals. Sometimes they feel a little mundane and they feel a little like, why am I doing this? This doesn't feel like it's contributing anything, but they truly are. They add up over time. Those small little steps, habits, disciplined actions is what's going to get you to your dreams. But what are those habits? Today we are going to reverse engineer your dreams. So we're going to take your dream life and we're going to reduce it down to kind of like a 5-year plan and then break that down into 1 year and then that 1 year into quarterly into months into weeks into days. So we know exactly what we're doing every single day that's contributing to the bigger picture. I will say, I think that you need to have some bit of delusional aspect here. I don't think that you have dreams that are too big for yourself or too big for, I guess, your heart and your soul and like what feels good for you. Like if you think of a dream and then your brain automatically shuts you down, I don't want you to do that. I want you to be delusional enough to know that you can go after anything, or just think that you can go after anything, and we'll get to the knowing part in the future. You need to be realistic of the timeline aspect because it's not going to happen overnight. You do have to put in the work for it, and it may not happen in a year. It may not happen in 5 years. It may be a 20-year plan that you've got going on, but we're in it for the long haul here. This is not the get rich fast or get successful fast. Like, we are in it for the long haul. We want to create a sustainable future that feels really good and aligned with who we are and what our goals are. And that is going to take time, attention to detail, and a lot of dedication. So let's start focusing in on your big dream. We're going to basically start with a pen and paper aspect. And this is kind of like how I like to break it down. And then once I have it written down on paper, I move it to the digital aspect. And for that, I like to use Canva whiteboard. I'm actually going to create a whole Canva whiteboard link so that you can just open it up on your computer and implement everything. It'll have step by step so you don't have to worry about it. But for now, I want you to grab a piece of pen and paper and we're gonna start working on your big dream. I just kind of drew up a little map here. This is what this looks like. This is a smaller version of what's gonna be on the whiteboard and a less organized version, but this is kind of how you're going to do it. You're gonna mind map your dreams. I also really like this because it tends to be like if you mind map in a journal, well, paper is easy to get lost and so are digital files, but like when you're organized with your digital like mind, because my digital mind is through Notion and Canva, it is less likely to get lost and you can come back to it more frequently and see what your progress is. I've got it into little squares here. So starting with the top right here, this is going to be your 5-year dream, your 5-year goal right here. And then you're going to break that down into your 1-year goal. So it goes 5-year to 1 year and then 1 year to quarters, bink, 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 bink. And then those quarters into months, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then those months will turn into weeks, and then weeks you'll turn into daily habits, which doesn't really fit on a paper unless you write really, really tiny, and I don't. So from here, you just kind of want to get the basis down from 5 to 1, 1 to quarters, and then quarters into months. So you have an idea of what you're working on each month. And then we can move into what we're doing each week that aligns with that month and soup it all up into that pretty 5-year dream / 1 year dream. I really like the pen to paper aspect. It helps my brain process it a lot more. I can cross things off. It doesn't feel as permanent, and like, I know you can change things on the digital aspect, but I don't know. Something about pen and paper really like helps me out. So let's work through one of my goals. I actually kind of did a version of this yesterday. Okay, so I did create a little version of this because I have a lot of dreams and goals. So this is something that you can do with each goal so that you can combine your day of all of the actions that it takes to meet all of these goals. So you're not just thinking about like, oh man, I have to wait another year to do all of that kind of stuff. So I have, let's choose one. Owning a group fitness studio. So owning a group fitness studio is kind of like a 5-year goal of mine. I think that that's pretty doable if I coordinate it correctly. So 5-year goal, owning a group fitness studio, having it be running successful. I have my own team, all the things. Turning that into a 1-year goal. In 1 year, I would like to have my group fitness certification complete and be working on a second group fitness certification. So I'm working currently on my just group fitness, all around group fitness certification. I'd like to have my Pilates one done as well in 1 year's time. And I also would like to be teaching classes around Boise, building up those connections and the environment and community for my group fitness studio so that I have kind of a market that I can bring with me. Quarterly, I would say working on finishing up my group fitness certification this quarter. Next quarter, maybe saving some money for my Pilates certification because it is going to cost a pretty penny. And then the third quarter, I could move into working on my Pilates certification. And then by fourth quarter, I could start getting in some practice with Pilates around town. So that creates a pretty quarterly overview. Months 1 and 2 of quarter 1 is focusing on finishing off my group fitness certification so that month 3, I can really focus in on acing my test. Quarter 2, month 1, I'm going to do as much research as I can around town to see what group fitness classes I can start to teach with just a basic group fitness certification. Month 2, adding on top of that, because I want to keep that present, month 2, I'm going to start creating a group fitness course for my online community so that I can build up my market for my group fitness studio. So that would just be like creating digital products that people can buy, digital classes that people can buy. And then month 3 is I would be doing the research for what Pilates certification that I want to go for quarter 3. And that requires how long is it going to take? Where is it located? Do I need to go back to LA to do a Pilates course for a month or so? Really focusing in on that. And for this quarter, I'd probably start picking up extra shifts, picking up extra classes, and making an extra $1 or $2 just to save up for my Pilates class on top of any other bills that I have. Quarter 3, month 1 is starting that Pilates class, wherever it may be. That's probably going to be majority of Pilates certification, is just focusing in on my class, making sure that I can finish that certification and get all my hours in as fast as possible. And that's probably going to bleed into month 1 and 2, possibly 3 of quarter 4. But if not, then looking around town to where I can do Pilates teaching. Month 3 of quarter 4, I would also be creating weekly Pilates videos. So this is where we're starting to get into weekly habits and daily tasks. So weekly habits, I would probably get into creating Pilates videos that I can implement on my social media and building that brand for myself, because that is a huge part of what I want my group fitness studio to look like. I want Pilates incorporated, and then breaking each of those months down into weeks. And so creating steps that I need to do every single week to be consistent, that align with my dreams and my goals, and then just daily habits that help those along. So it's not feeling like I'm overloading one thing onto one day every single week and then not paying attention to it for the rest of the week. Daily habits, practice, putting in those hours to all of those things while simultaneously doing some other things that feed my ambitious, driving soul to get all of my goals done in 5 years. That seems a little overwhelming. I've got a lot of goals. As long as we're working on all of them, they don't have to be huge. So that's kind of a breakdown of one of my goals. Sorry if that was confusing, because I was doing pretty much all of it in my head. That's a reason that it's nice to like really break it down on paper so that you're not getting confused. So doing all of that on paper and then being able to implement that into a digital aspect, which again, I will link in the description box below. So yeah, that is where I would basically put everything into my Canva. I would write it down first, obviously, and then put everything into my Canva whiteboard. And then I like to keep track of that per goal. So I would do that and basically copy and paste my structure that I've got right there, do it for another goal, and link that to my Notion. That's basically it for this video. We're really just focusing on the blueprint for this video. So I hope this was really helpful in taking that next step into the Dream Big, Plan Smart series. Next week, we're going to talk about discipline in those daily habits to get you to your dreams, because that is a huge, like, that's it. That's what it is those daily tasks that you're doing. You're keeping consistent with yourself and how to get there, because it is really hard to like pull yourself out of a funk if you're not being productive and you don't know where you want to go. And a lot of that has to do with just the overwhelming aspect of like there's a lot to do. So we will go over that next week. Other than that, thanks for watching this video. I so appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so you can see the notification when I post the next one next week. We're gonna get into happy hour, so if you'd like to stay for happy hour, grab a drink. I've got my little coffee here. This is you can probably hear that real well on the microphone. This is a brown sugar cold brew that I mix with a little bit of half and half. Anyways, I want to know what goals you're mapping out. This is our time to chat. This is our time to like get into the juicy stuff so you can get to know me a little bit better. I can get to know you a little bit better in the comments and respond. I want to know your dreams. I want to know your goals. What are you working on? Do you have many goals? Do you have just one goal? What's your like 5-year plan? What are you most excited about? What like really feeds your passion and maybe you don't have a creative soul. I have a creative soul. I don't know what it's like to not have a creative soul, but actually I lie. I do know what it's like to not have a creative soul. My boyfriend, I wouldn't say that he's not creative, but he's definitely more logical than I'm pretty logical. He's definitely just like math and science-y and very logical, whereas like I have more creative passion and drive to my goals, and I won't stop at anything till I get them. And so we were talking about this the other day because we have a really good combo of brains to collaborate on creating stuff, because he can be the logical side of everything, but I can be the delusional creative side of everything, and then we can come meet in the middle and create our dream life. So yeah, I want to know some of yours, or do you have a person in your life that is like the logical side of things? The trick there is to get someone logical but also not pessimistic, because you still need to stay optimistic about what you can create. And I truly believe like your limit is past the sky. The limit does not exist. The limit does not exist. If you know what movie that's from, comment down below. Some of my goals that I am working on, just so you can get to know me a little bit better. Let's get down and dirty and vulnerable here. I wrote them all out yesterday. I want to build an influencing brand on social media that focuses on well-being and creativity. So I would really love within the next 5 years to obviously like be able to make a sustainable income off of social media and I want to create basically a brand that focuses on the well-being of creators and being able to provide resources to newer creators in all aspects, because I don't want to just focus in on like social media creators. I am at my heart an actor and a dancer, and I will continue to run that dream as long as possible, which hopefully is my entire life. I think that the hardest thing with being in the entertainment industry is people are taboo about it and they're greedy about it. They don't want to provide you with the resources. They don't want to see your success, and that sucks. And so I really want to be able to like reach a broader spectrum of people, because it is becoming so open to like the industry is just opening up out of Hollywood. It really strictly used to be like Hollywood and New York and Atlanta and Chicago for different things, but they have really opened up the industry. The problem is that the resources are in those places for the most part still. And if they're in other places, they're very under wraps and hidden, and it's hard to seek those out. So I would really like to have like an online space. And my biggest thing of like working in the industry and being in the industry is that it takes money, and you don't have that as an aspiring actor. So I want to provide opportunity and courses and classes for people to rise up, to create money, to be able to afford different classes that they want to take or different resources that they need. And so I want to create that whole brand on social media. But also I love the aspect of well-being. I think that it's so important, and a lot of people find that like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people's minds are so jumbled. I don't like the States' view of like the United States view of like you live to work instead of work to live, and that's just not true. Like, who wants to just live their entire life working and then have it be over? Like, that would suck. And then have like nothing. I don't want to do that. I don't want you to do that. I don't want people out there to do that. I really want to create a brand of well-being while being a creative, because it is hard to balance work-life balance for being a creative, because there's always juices flowing. There's always something to do. There's always more that you can work on, and it becomes overwhelming, and it becomes paralyzing, and it becomes sickening in a sense. Like, you're hurting your body and your mind if you're always working, if that makes sense. So that is one of my dreams. I know I really elaborated on that one, but that's been a dream of mine for a really long time, and it's now starting to get really super focused. Be a famous actor, obviously. I would love to be, in 5 years, I would love to be in feature films or possibly a series regular. I want to create my own script and take it to a feature. I actually have a couple in mind, as well as a series regular script. That would be so fun. I've never written a script before. I honestly don't know how. I don't know what the font is. I don't know anything about it, but I would love to learn. It does seem a little daunting, so I haven't like tapped into it quite a lot yet, but that is something that is a goal of mine, is writing a script, taking it to a film fest, and being in fun stuff. My third one is own a bar, build a cocktail brand. That's kind of me and my boyfriend's side hustle that we're doing, and we would really love to own a bar just because we've been in the hospitality industry for so long. We know so much about it, and in so many different places as well. So we know so much about it that like it's really hard to work for someone that doesn't know as much about it and isn't open to the help. We would just want to own our own. So that is something that we're working on. Owning a group fitness studio, we talked about that. And then be a famous singer. I'm not a singer. I can carry a tune. I would love to take some vocal lessons. Sometimes I think about like, I've had some vocal lessons, but I haven't like really focused in on my, I don't know, my voice or anything. But then I think about when like Niall Horan was young, or Louis Tomlinson. I think about the One Direction members when they were on the X Factor, and I go watch their auditions, and I'm like, I could do that. I could do that, and you've improved a lot. So I think it's a possibility. I just need to take some singing lessons and work on that. My boyfriend's really good at like understanding music and writing and stuff like that. So I'd love to collaborate and like have him kind of teach me that mindset. So yeah, that's all of my dreams and goals. The other thing that I am going to start working on once I'm settled into this new like content schedule, and hopefully I will be getting a second little side hustle job pretty soon, but I want to create a podcast. I have plans for one, and I think it would be super fun. I think it'd be super beneficial. I've kind of always wanted something that really helps me to like get up and get started for my day is listening to a video, and it's hard to like find those that really motivate me to actually get into what I want to do. So I'd like to kind of create a collection of that / getting our life together, because no one ever has their life together all of the time, no matter how it may seem on Instagram. So that is something to kind of look forward to in the future. I'm thinking launching maybe around September, October-ish, and doing like a 10 series podcast every couple months, or 10 episodes podcast every couple months. I think that would be manageable, super fun, have them not be like too crazy long, but also, honestly, I like a long podcast sometimes. Like if I'm doing my mundane day-to-day tasks, like I love a good podcast to put in my ears and just listen. And I typically listen to ones that are like motivational or are educational or inspirational or like are just teaching me something. That is it on the video. Thanks for staying for happy hour. If you did, comment down below what your goals are, what you're working towards. I'd love to hear it. If you want to connect on any of my other social medias, all of my handles are at the Courtney Canvas, creating my life on social media, you know. But thanks so much much for watching. I really do appreciate you being here. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next time next week. Bye.